Yeah, okay. I'll bite. So, probably the first thing that I should mention to you is that I didn't call you a Nazi. What I basically said is that feminism, to me, is essentially on the same level and on par with Nazism and religious extremism and all the rest of that. Um, you choose to internalize it however you want, but the point is that saying I can't find, or saying things like I'm a good feminist is to me and to an awful lot of guys exactly the same as saying I'm a good Nazi. I'm not saying that you are a Nazi, although there's an awful lot of similarities, by the way, between Nazism and feminism, including, by the way, the phrase best interests of the children. You may want to look that one up. Um, One of the things that I find particularly annoying about all of this sort of stuff, and one of the things that I guess I should probably expect, considering I've got about a decade and a half of experience with this, is that typically what happens is a feminist will come on and they will say, well, I agree with you on this issue here, or what have you, and then they will say, but what about the women? What about the women? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. And eventually, it comes back to the issue of rape and how women are all just victims and men are all just evil bastards that are out to rape them and subjugate them. And what I am saying and what I am contending in this video, and if you paid any attention at all to the video or the comments that I had actually written, which, by the way, even though a lot of them were written to you, were actually generally responses to feminists. But all that rambling aside, my point, my original point to you is that there is absolutely no way, shy of completely avoiding women outside of a public situation, there is absolutely no way that a man can protect himself from a false accusation of rape. And furthermore, the reason why the law is that imbalanced, the only reason why the law is that imbalanced, is because of feminist lobbying for the law to become exactly like it is, which means feminism as an ideology, those feminists as individuals, and all of those people who support this law and the feminist ideology that actually upholds it are all collectively guilty of causing this injustice. Which means that, yes, if you call yourself a feminist, I do hold you, personally, you, responsible, along with all of the other feminists out there, for the things that were done in the name of feminism. If you don't like it, I would suggest that you just call yourself something else. Because the point of the matter is it's not up to me to decide who the good Nazis are. And that's exactly what deciding who the good feminists are to me. The same exact concept. Okay? It is not up to me to decide which of you are good people and which of you are not. And that's my point. If you don't like the fact that I am so vehement in some of my arguments, that's fine. I can understand where you might be a little bit off put by that. I've been at this an awful long time, though, and I don't have a whole lot of time to sit here and educate people over and over and over again, especially when I go to the trouble of designing a fucking magazine that explains all this shit, and none of you will even download and read it. You just want me to keep fucking telling you the same thing over and over again. You're wasting our time. You want to know why MRAs are not fucking interested in dialogue with feminists anymore? Because it's fruitless. It's pointless. All you do is argue the same shit over and over and over again, and nothing ever fucking gets done. And that's exactly why you do it. Now, some of you may actually be trying to understand what's going on, but the vast fucking majority of you are not. And it's not up to me to decide or try and figure out who it is that is actually trying to figure this stuff out. And if you'll recall, I was really nice to you at the beginning. I even pointed you at that magazine. Did you download it? Did you read it? You're asking me about this stuff. I told you where the answers were. It's all written out for you, hopefully in a nice looking magazine. It's a 4 megabyte download. It's not like it's a big deal. It's 30 pages, and that's if you actually count the illustrations and the cover. Am I calling you a Nazi? No. I am calling your ideology directly equivalent to Nazism. And if you have decided to call yourself a feminist, I am under no more obligation to decide if you're a good feminist or a bad one than I would be if you were a good Nazi or a bad Nazi. And that is exactly what I told you. So if you want to take things one way, go ahead. But at least have the decency to quote me before you decide that, I've said something that I didn't say.